UFC 301 Pantoja versus Erceg just wrapped up, and it was actually a pretty fun card. I enjoyed it. It was a great card. I did really well on predictions. I only got one fight wrong, and the main event was actually a really fun fight and a close fight, which is a very debatable decision, which I'll talk about later on. But it was a really fun fight. 4 bonuses went out to the finishers. A lot of Brazilians won on the card. Aldo won. And yeah, let's talk about the card because it was extremely fun. So let's get into it. First fight on the card was Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Bas. I picked Alessandro Costa to win. I thought he might get a decision. I thought this fight might be a little bit less action-packed and just a lot of control time on the ground from Costa, because I thought the Bas would cause him some problems on the feet and he would need to take it to the ground to be safe, but he did not. He beat him up on the feet, honestly. In round 1, it was pretty close. Like, Costa was landing really good shots. Bas landed a couple, but towards the end of the round, Costa landed a massive shot. I forget what it was, but he really hurt Bas, and then he went for a flying knee, which just missed. So he was beating him up in the first round a little bit, clearly won that round. And then in the second round, he comes out, lands like a calf kick. It was weird because he hadn't even been landing any other calf kicks. He just landed one, and then Bas immediately just died, and his leg was cooked, and he was hopping around on one leg. And then, yeah, he just follows up. He keeps just kicking the fuck out of his legs as he's trying to run away. Really vicious stuff. Follows him to the ground, gets to mount, and then just starts beating him up to a ground and pounds TKO win. So really good stuff from Alessandro Costa with a second round TKO. Picked him to win, started off the card 1-0. He probably should have been a way bigger favourite because these odds were actually pretty close, which was surprising. But anyway, let's move on up the card. Ishmael Bonfiglio versus Vince Pichel. I picked Bonfiglio, obviously. He was a massive favourite, and he won clearly. He won 30-27, but he didn't look that great. Like, he looked solid on the feet, I guess, but he was throwing a lot of looping shots. He didn't look too clean. He was beating up Vince Pichel, but... sorry. Vince Pichel is a 41-year-old man. Like, you should be beating the fuck out of him and probably finishing him. He didn't. He got close at moments. Like, he would hurt him on the feet. He would charge him and unload combinations against the cage and stuff. But there was no point where he, like, badly dropped him or, like, had him in mount and was, like, ground and pounding him. Like, there was no crazy, just pure dominance. He was just cleanly winning on the feet just by being more athletic, being the better striker, all of that stuff. And yeah, he just looked better than Pichel on the feet, which you should, so it's not that impressive, but whatever. He gets the win, 30-27. Just how bad is Terrence McKinney to get brutally KO'd by this guy when Pichel went the distance? That's tough. Let's move on. Ion Barboza versus Ernesta Caricante. Barboza won a very close decision. Arguable robbery, I would say. She clearly won the first round, and on all 3 scorecards, she actually won the second, so she got a 29-28 decision victory. I picked her to win, so I wasn't too upset with the decision. It was a lot of grappling. She grappled in the first round successfully. In the second round, she had a few takedowns, but it was a case of Caricante was landing good. It was almost like the WMMA low-level version of the main event, to be honest, in the sense that one person looked better on the feet. Caricante was kind of tuning her up, looked cleaner in the striking, but Barboza was getting the takedowns and getting control time. So she won on the scorecards. Good win for her in her debut, and I got the pick right. But let's move on up the card. Mauricio Hufi versus Jamie Malaki. I picked Mauricio Hufi to win, and he got it done. This guy is a problem, and he looks like he's going to cause some issues for a lot of guys at lightweight. This guy's striking is nutty. Like, he came out there, did some weird shit early with some sort of leg kick. He was landing 6 shots on the feet, was throwing wheel kicks. He really looks Conor McGregor-esque out there, bouncing around, probing with that lead hand, just floating around, looked calm in there, looked chill. And Malaki didn't look good, which he doesn't normally, but not many guys just style on him completely. Like, he got finished by Turner and he got finished by, like, Huckparast and stuff, but he doesn't normally just get pillar to post in, like, just one round of fight, and he just has 0 moments at all. Rufi just dominated him. He hit a scissor sweep at one point. That's how in control of the fight this guy was. Hit, like, a little kind of spinny turn and then did a fucking scissor sweep. Didn't fully complete the takedown, but it was sick. He landed like a massive right hand. He was landing that right hand at moments a lot. Landed a flying knee, and then in the finishing sequence, Malaki just kind of ran away, and he was hurt badly, bloodied up his nose early, and just styled on him. He got a performance bonus as well, I'm pretty sure. This guy is a problem. He's got real star potential. He talks well on the mic. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he goes to or what he does next. Really interesting fighter and a really good performance on the card. But let's move on up the card. Clos versus Joachim Silva. This fight was actually really fun. So, Clos won a decision, 29-28 in all three scorecards. I was actually kind of surprised. Look, I do agree with the scorecards. I did think he won. But I honestly thought with the Brazilian judging, he might take a loss. But he got the win. He won the first and second round, I believe. And I think Silva won, or maybe, I forget. But my memory's pretty poor. But yeah, he won the first round clearly. He was doing good work, landing good shots, good right hands, doing some work in the clinch and stuff too. And then in the second rounds, from memory, or later on in the fight, Joachim Silva was having more success. Clos looked really gassed, and Silva was landing some good shots. He was a bit more physical in there, just more athletic. And then at one point, Joachim Silva had Clos in a gilly, and Clos, I thought he was about to tap, and he leans forward and then slams himself backwards, and then and gets out of the guillotine attempt. So really good stuff from him. But Clos did enough for 2 of the 3 rounds to get the win, so fair play. Good for him. He called out Beneil Dariush and Jalen Turner. I wouldn't mind the Turner fight rankings-wise, but you're not getting a top 10 opponent, so he's not going to fight Beneil. But yeah, solid win for him. Let's move on, though, up the card. Maitebek Orolbai versus Elvis Brena. This fight was fucking weird as shit. So Maitebek Orolbai, he won 29-27 on all 3 scorecards. He won every round, but he got a point taken in the third, which I'll talk about. But first round, he came out and he just looked really strong. Brena landed a few shots, but Orolbai landed a nice right hand over the top and rocked Brena, but he actually followed through with a takedown. And I was like, okay, well, he's gonna he's hurting him on the feet here, but he didn't finish him. The IQ on display from Orolbai was definitely linked to his appearance, because that man looks prehistoric. Definitely got some fucking caveman woolly mammoth behavior there. But yeah, he was rocking him a couple times. He was landing good shots on the feet, but most of his work in the first round, a lot of takedowns. Similar to how he did against Uros Medic, he just took him down a whole bunch, beat him up on the ground a little bit, threw some really good ground and pound shots. Brena would have moments where he would try and sweep and stuff, but Orolbai's really strong on top. Second round, another similar thing. He took him down a bunch. He did hurt him on the feet a couple times. I think he opened up the round and hurt him again with a right hand. His striking was pretty solid. Brena, again, my memory of the sequence of events is pretty shit. But Brena did get back up and he actually swept and landed on top it a few times towards the end of the round, I think, in round 2. And obviously he lost the round, but he had some moments and he was throwing a bit of ground and pound towards the end, and it kind of looked like the momentum was shifting a bit, and I thought we might see another Guram versus Brena type situation where Brena comes on late, but he looked gassed in the third. Orolbai took him down again, and Brena was working heavy to get back up, but at one moment, Brena had Orolbai against the cage, kind of in on a one knee position sort of thing, up against the cage, and Orolbai grabbed the cage, and the referee didn't separate them or anything, he just took a point. Without even, I don't think he even warned Orolbai, he just took a point. Fair enough, I don't mind it, but then then they continue. They both looked gassed as shit on the feet. Both of them had moments. Orolbai took him down again, ended up on top. Brena was escaping. And then towards the end of the rounds, their hands were down. Brena was running forwards, throwing absolute god-awful striking. But Orolbai does end up getting it done, 29. And Orolbai dropped Brena pretty badly right at the end of the round. It could have, I think Brena might have cost himself a draw, because I think he was winning the third, and then he got dropped badly at the end. So I think that might have cost him, because it could have been a draw. But still, it was pretty clear in there. Orolbai was the overall better fighter. But his IQ's not the best. He needs to keep it where he's having success, and he was losing position a lot, and yeah, he did gas out a little bit, but I still think he's got room to grow, and I think he'll come back better from this experience. But let's move on up the card. Yasmin Lucindo versus Karolina Kolovacevic. I picked Lucindo to win. She got it done 30-27. She tuned her up. She was just out striking her too fast. Hurt her a couple times, but yeah, it was just way too fast on the feet, good movement, good striking, took her down a couple times. It was pretty much all Lucindo. She hurt Carolina's eye, I think, in the first round with a shot, might have rocked her a little bit, but yeah, I kind of zoned out during this because I was setting stuff up because I was having mates over, so I was just setting up the area, connecting my computer to TV and all that, so I kind of wasn't watching too much. But yeah, clear win for Lucindo, and she is now a ranked strawweight, so congratulations to her. But let's move on up the card. Joanderson Brito versus Jack Shaw. I picked Brito to win, and he got it done by second round TKO, but it was a weird TKO and arguably kind of dumb, because the fight got stopped due to a cut on the leg of Jack Shaw because Brito kicked him, and as he checked the kick, it just cut his leg open bad. Apparently, the doctor said he thought it was fractured, but they went to the hospital and it wasn't fractured, so it was kind of retarded. But his leg was cut open badly, bleeding a lot. So it was kind of a weird situation. I don't agree with stopping it for that, but Brito was clearly winning the fight. He clearly won the first round. He was chewing up his leg bad. He looked like he almost like Jack Shaw's legs were almost cooked in like the first minute, to be honest. But then he was just very physical, shot a few takedowns. Not too much happened apart from that. A lot of leg kicks, swinging a lot of shots. In the second round, similar sort of thing. A lot of cage control pressure from Brito. And then, the kick that cut his leg open. And they stopped it, called the doctor in, and then they called it off. So I do think regardless, Brito was also winning the second. It wasn't really feeling like a momentum shift was coming. But a little bit anticlimactic. And he calls out Dan Ige. Make the fight happen. He's called him out the last 3 times he's fought. Danny, motherfucker. Like, he just keeps calling him out. Make it happen. What the fuck are we doing here? Make that fight. But let's move on up the card to the main card. Hall Craig versus Caio Baralo. Caio Baralo won by brutal second round flatline KO pretty much over Paul Craig. The first round was all Baralo. He was tuning him up on the feet. Anytime they kind of engaged in grappling and Craig would sit to his bum and go to the ground, Baralo would just call him up and say, fuck you, I ain't retarded. I'm not Magomed Ankalaev, little bro. I'm not going to get triangled by you or Jamal Hill. What was I saying? Baralo then in the second round, he was just tuning him up the whole time on the feet. He was way better. He hurt Craig, rocked him, and then chased him down, ran him towards the cage. I think there was one point where he landed a massive knee a little bit before the finishing sequence that looked like that dropped Baralo. So they dropped Craig, and then Baralo called him back up again. I was like, you probably could have just avoided the guard and just punched him. But he called him back up. Very smart, composed performance from Baralo. And then, hurts him, runs him down towards the cage, lands a massive shot, and Craig goes to the canvas face down. And a massive KO win for Baralo. Calls out Jared Cannonier. Pump the brakes a little bit. I don't hate it. It's not as bad as when he called out Dricus du Plessis after beating Abbas Magomedov. Not quite as bad as that, because now he is going to be like a top 10-ish, almost top 10 guy. I think the Roman Dolidze fight would be good. Or you do Pereira versus Michel Pereira versus Roman Dolidze. That would be cool too. I want to see him versus like a top 10-ish guy next, maybe a Hermanson, but I'll talk about that. I'll make my definitive decision when I do my next fights to make video, but really good stuff. Good KO from Baralo. This was really the performance that he needed. And good on the mic too, unlike last time calling out Dricus du Plessis. So good stuff all round for Caio Baralo. Let's move on though, up the card. Shell Pereira versus Ihor Peteria. Just look at this picture. This is really all you need to know about the fight. Michel Pereira, he's not a big fan of going long in fights. This guy's decided, he's moved up to middleweight, and he's decided he can't be bothered fighting into second rounds, or even second minutes, to be honest, because his first fight at middleweight against Petrosky, he won by TKO in 1 minute and 6 seconds. His next fight against Jacek, he won by submission in 1 minute and 1 second. And then this fight, he wins by submission with a guillotine in 54 seconds. This dude cannot be bothered to go into the second or third minute of a fight. It was a feeling out process, not too much going on. They both walked out to some really weird songs, really depressing music, to be honest. I thought Pereira was going to walk out to some capoeira shit, but he lands a massive right hand, I'm pretty sure it was, puts Pereira down, backflips into his guard and knees him in the face as he does so. Rocks, he's obviously, that was not, the illegal shot was not the first thing to rock him. He was clearly rocked, but he puts him down and then, backflips, hurts him with a knee. Looks like his head almost bounced into the ground. And then latches up a power guillotine and just fucking Peteria taps, and he also goes out unconscious at the same time. 54-second guillotine bonus winning performance from Michel Pereira. Would have liked to call out. I think you give this guy a top 15, top 10 opponent almost. He's just smoking everyone. Peteria's not that good, but he's not awful. He gets, no one, same with, Oleg Jacek or Petrosky. These guys lose they lose fights, but who's just smoking them in a minute? We need to see this guy versus a top 15, top 10 guy to actually test him, because he's just rinsing all these unranked guys, so what the fuck are we doing here? For scientific purposes, I want to see him, if he can put away Vettori. That'd be cool. Maybe a bit too early for that, but I wouldn't mind that fight, one fight after his next one. But amazing win from Michel Pereira, gets the bonus. I was worried they might make it a no contest, because that backflip knee was illegal. And that would have sucked for him, but whatever. He gets the win. Let's move on. Anthony Smith might have appeared on paper for the first time in his career. He submitted Vitor Patrino with a guillotine like 2 minutes into the fight. There was not much going on. Smith was landing a couple leg kicks. Patrino was throwing some big meaty arm punches. And then Patrino shoots a takedown. And Smith latches up a gilly. I was thinking, okay, he's going to fight the hands here and then he'll take him down, or he might slam him down to get out of the guillotine. He slams him down into the guillotine, and just gets submitted and taps out. This was the one fight of the entire card I got wrong. It was like the equal biggest favorite on the card that I got wrong. I kind of had a feeling, because you know how the main card started, Barolo, Pereira, and Patrino were all like minus 500, minus 600 favorites. I was like, one of them's going to lose. And when the first two won, I'm like, I kind of got a feeling that Patrino's going to do something retarded and Smith's going to lose. I thought maybe Smith would gas him out and win, but no. Smith just subs him in the first with a guillotine because Patrino's retarded and taps to guillotines. And also didn't know why were you shooting a takedown against Smith, you weirdo? But whatever. That's my one fight that I got wrong. Who cares? Let's move on though to the co-main event. Jose Aldo versus Jonathan Martinez. I don't know why I said it like that. But Jose Aldo gets it done by unanimous 30-27 decision. Probably one of the highlights of the card, apart from maybe like Michel Pereira backflip KOing Ihor Bateria almost. But yeah, this was a fun fight. It was just Aldo out. It wasn't a crazy war, but it was just for the first two rounds, Aldo just cleanly outstruck Martinez. Checked most of the leg kicks, looked great on the feet. Hands were quicker, boxing was crisper, and just was easily winning. And then in the third, he rocked Martinez. Martinez was having a few moments. I'm not going to say it was just a complete one-sided domination. It was no Holloway Cater type of shit. But Martinez had some moments. He was landing some elbows. He was landing some kicks, landing a couple shots, but his power just wasn't enough to deter Aldo. Aldo walked him down and did much better in the striking when he did walk him down compared to when he accepted back foot, when he was kind of circling away. But yeah, in the third round, Aldo cracks Martinez badly. Looked like he wobbled him a lot. I was like, he's going to get a finish. He's going to get a finish. Because I had Aldo by round 3 TKO on verdict. And I was like, oh, let's fucking go. Unfortunately, did not happen. But, what was I going to say? But he gets it done regardless. He then takes him down with a really nice double leg. Ends up on top and just finishes the fight. 30-27, clearly unanimous. And the good news is he didn't announce his retirement. He said he's going to go back and talk to Dana. So we could be seeing the return of Jose Aldo. And you know what? I'm going to put out, the new rankings submissions for you guys to submit your rankings in a couple hours or maybe with my next video. But in my opinion, I would have Jose Aldo ranked like number 5 bantamweight in the world because Cheeto is right now the number 4 guy. Move that motherfucker down. He beat Cheeto Vera easily, and Cheeto didn't have any moments in that fight. Not many. He clearly won that fight. He's now got 4 wins over top 15 bantamweights. He's so clearly should be a top guy in this division, and he could arguably, merit-wise not, but I could see the UFC giving him a title shot, or maybe at least like a top 5 guy. Maybe even a Corey Sandhagen or a Cheeto Vera rematch or something like that. Just don't do the Yarn fight and don't do Murrah. But those are the only two, and I'm like, sweet. Anything else, we're good. Even Cejudo, I wouldn't mind, because I think he would smoke Cejudo, defend all his takedowns. Just don't do Umar, don't do fucking Yarn, and don't do Murrah. And anything else, I'm happy with. But yeah, great win for Aldo. Really feel-good moment. The walkout was sick. Crowd was a little bit quiet, which was they were cheering, but even in his speech, they weren't going crazy, which was a bit weird. But really happy to see him back, and it was a great moment. And I won my bet. I had a bet on Jose Aldo too, so yeah, I got that stuff done. But let's move on up the card. The main event, Steve Erceg versus Alessandro Pantoja. Pantoja won a unanimous decision, 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46, which I disagree with, certainly. The title of this video is, was it a robbery? Or robbery question mark? Something like that. That's what I'm going to do. But I do not think this was a robbery, and I don't think this was a bad decision. But I also do not think it would have been a bad decision if Erceg had won. I think it pretty clearly is the second and third rounds that is the debate. In my opinion, it is clear. Pantoja won round 1. You can't argue. No doubt about that. Erceg 100% no doubt about it. Won round 4. And I think pretty clearly Pantoja won round 5. Although listening to MMA Guru's live stream, he seems to believe that one cut with an elbow means more than the rest of the round, where Pantoja landed some good shots on the feet, also took Erceg down, got to different positions, got to mount, got the back, But one elbow, damage. It's all about damage. So I know damage is the criteria, but you can't be like, this one elbow that cut him open is the more significant thing of the round than anything else that happened. I think that's kind of retarded. But so that's my thing. I think 1 and 5 is clear Pantoja, 4 is clear Erceg, and I think 2 and 3 go either way. So it's a very similar situation to the Dricus and Strickland fight in the similarity that it was clear 1 and 5 for Strickland, the champion going in, clear 1 and 5, clear round 4 for Dricus / Erceg in this case, and then I think 2 and 3 were the ones where it's debatable. So even though I definitely disagree with the 49-46, it's in a similar situation where I actually think a 49-46 for Strickland would not have been the most outrageous thing. I think a 49-46 for Strickland would have been a very similar situation to a 49-46 for Pantoja in this particular fight, because I think the second and third will razor close. So I think it's either a 48-47 either way, or I don't think the 49-46 is the most egregious thing ever. I disagree with it 100%. Don't come in the comments and say, how are you scoring that 49? I'm not. That was not my scorecard. I scored at 48-47. I scored 1, 3, and 5 for Pantoja, and then 2 and 4 for Erceg. That's the same as 2 of the judges had it. So look, I do not think that scoring the second round for Pantoja is the correct thing, but it's also not like the worst scorecard I've ever seen. And people are saying this is like Jones-Reyes. Jones-Reyes was way bigger of a robbery than this, because Reyes clearly just won the first 3 rounds flat out. So this was not Jones-Reyes. Don't be calling this a robbery. Don't be calling this the most brutal decision ever in the sport. And no, like, MMA Guru is literally saying, I got my pick right. I don't care. You guys are dumb. He's saying that you were dumb if you picked Pantoja going into this. Like, all right, bro, we get it. You got your pick wrong. I understand. Very close fight. Could have gone either way. But come on. Let's chillax here. Really fun fight. Really good stuff. In the first round, after Pantoja kind of just grappled him and just out hustled him and looked like he was kind of dominating, using his will, just kind of imposing his will there. And I was like, okay, Pantoja might just grapple the fuck out of him for 5 rounds. But second round, Erceg looked good on the feet. He kept it on the feet, was kind of tuning him up a little bit, landing the better strikes. Pantoja did get his takedowns and stuff, and he landed a few good shots, but what mostly was just Erceg being the way cleaner striker, and he gets it done in the second, or he gets the second round under his belt. Weirdly enough, apparently his coach or his corner were telling him he was down 3-0 going into the fourth, which is weird, because I thought I heard Pantoja's corner saying he was up 3-0, and I'm like, don't be telling the guy that he's up 3-0, like that could be a really bad idea. But third round is a very debatable round, because yes, the more damaging, or like the visible damage rule of getting cut open with a big elbow, that's what happened to Pantoja. Erceg cut him open badly with an elbow around the hairline, so it wasn't like right above the eye or something like that. So yeah, it was a definite cut and a definite thing. But it's the same thing as saying, like, is Jack Shaw, or is Joannison Brito kicking Jack Shaw and slicing his leg open, is that like the same level of effectiveness or the same level of impact on the scorecards just because it's a cut? Like, I feel like cuts, maybe you gotta judge it based on where it is, or like how much it's affecting the fighter, because it wasn't like Holloway Volk 3, where Holloway just had a massive cut in his eyebrow and he could hardly see. Like, it was on top of the kind of head. It was a good stuff, but also Pantoja cut Erceg in the first. Might have been a headbutt, I don't know. I'm waffling here. But third round comes to whether you believe the cut from Erceg was better than the grappling from Pantoja. I don't know the exact stats, so don't come at me and say like, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about and you're saying that Pantoja won. I don't remember the exact things, but I just remember like kind of the outline of what happened. Pantoja had a lot of grappling success in the round, but yes, Erceg did cut him, so I don't mind going either way. And I get MMA Guru's saying all this like damage is the criteria, which it is, but you can't say because damage is the criteria, one elbow means more than all of this, because the criteria does not say that grappling just means nothing, judge the round on anything that isn't grappling. That's not what the criteria says. So yeah, damage trumps all, but damage is the number one like effectiveness on the scorecards, But also, Pantoja was having success. He landed some good shots on the feet. He had grappling success too, because effective grappling is also a key on the scorecard criteria. And effective grappling is stuff like transitions, taking mount, getting closer to a dominant position, like taking mount or the back, or taking him down and stuff like that, and getting into side control, passing guard. That all counts as effective grappling. So I don't think you can say that 100% without a doubt the cut just wins him the round. He did have other moments on the feet. He was looking good. Fourth round, he clearly won. Pantoja really wasn't able to do much in the grappling, and Erceg just tuned him up on the feet. But fifth round was close enough. Erceg apparently says Pantoja lost the fifth. I don't know how you say that. Again, one cut does not win you a round. Pantoja did a lot of other work in the round. But Erceg shot a takedown and got it briefly, and then ended up getting swept, and Pantoja got the last 3 minutes of control time, also passing guard, getting to side control, doing good stuff, took his back, I think, briefly. So yeah, I don't think you can say it's a robbery. It was a very good fight either way, and just don't ruin the sport for yourselves by crying robbery and getting pissed off and angry about cards. I get it. It was very close. It would have been amazing to see Erceg win. I'm Australian. I would have been happy to see Steve Erceg win, and we get an Australian champion. That would have been awesome. I had a bet on Steve Erceg as an underdog. But you can't just call robbery. You can say robbery, but don't let this fucking upset your day and let this be oh, I hate this. You guys all suck. Emigru was raging off his head. He was banning people from his chat because he was getting so angry and shit. It's just I don't mean to be oh, settle down, but it's a sport. The result happened. It was not egregious. It was a very close fight. It was a great fight, and just enjoy the fact that it was a cool fight. The number 10 ranked guy came in and looked great. I think he's still he's a clear top 5, top 3 guy, because he had more success on the feet than anyone else Pantoja's fought. So great stuff, great fight all round. Pantoja is really looking a bit worrying on the feet. I think he needs to tidy that stuff up. But if he fights Makayev next or Albazi, I do think he will be. I think that's an easy win for him. But yeah, great win from Pantoja, great performance from Erceg, and I want to see him fight a top 5 guy too in his next fight. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. I went 12 out of 13 on picks, got everything right except for Anthony Smith, because I didn't know he was going to show up on paper. But yeah, peace out, guys. Great fight, great card, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.